Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. Stretch out those arms to the ceiling. Turn your hips and waist to look at the heel of your opposite foot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. Stretch out your fingers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight. Kick your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift your weight. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3. Shift your weight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman. Opening up your span, parallel feet, choose one side. Cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good Tai Chi posture, shift weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Good Tai Chi posture for a good golden cockerel. Dropping those shoulders, opening up our span. Tucking our butt under, hollowing out our chest. Head and spine straight up. Thinking about how we're going to be a golden cockerel standing on our left foot. Here we go. Shift your weight to the left, up, golden cockerel. Set. Kicking out. First starting with 50-50, evenly distributed weight. Shift to the left, up with your right. Right hand follows the kick. Last set. Holding our ball on a T stance. Root down on the back or right foot. Look at the size of your ball, 2 inches below your navel. Top hand, right hand, chest level. Is your spine straight? Is your head erect? Are you rooted down? Moving out into an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane on a bow stance. Here it is. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, root down, T and ball. L and ball, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, root down, T and ball. L and ball. Here it is. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Ball and T. Bring those arms in. Out on an L. Move that ball. Stretch out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Root down, ball and T. Out on an L. Part the wild horse's mane. Stretch. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Ball and T. Out and to the side on an L. Bow stance. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back hand. Cloud hands. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, 12 o'clock, stem and cup. Open step, 9 o'clock. Flip the hands, join the feet. 12 o'clock, stem and cup. 1, 2, 3 o'clock. Flip the hands, open the feet. 12 o'clock, stem and cup. 10, 9, only flip the hands. 12, stem and cup. 1, 2, 3, flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock cup. 11, 10, 9, flip, open. 12, 1, 2, 3, only flip. Shift your weight up, golden cockerel. back out. Holding our ball on a T stance, we're going to grasp the bird's tail by warding off. Out on an L, use the forearm to push your opponent away. Turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail as you sit down, sit back, look back. Turn, then square contact, push that energy out. Separate your arms, roll back, and spiral forward. What you do on one side, you do on the other side. Sit back, sit down, left hand on the bottom, holding your ball on a T stance. We're going to ward off. Out on an L, push them away. Give me my space. Turn your hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail. Pull down, pull back, look back. Turn, square contact at your wrist to push that energy out. Separate and roll back. And spiral forward. Today's lesson. Sit down, sit back, pivot, open, pivot, in. Tuck the right hand inside of your cross as you embrace your tiger, rotating on the wrists, using your core, elevating. Both palms are now facing you. Push out, using your core. Both palms are now facing the ground. Drop your shoulders, make yourself small. Hands go for the ride as you close your form. Okay? Going back and remembering other movements now. First, starting with one we are familiar with, again, parting of the wild horse's mane. Here we go. Listen carefully. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Stretch. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Ball and T. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist to multitask to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Brush your knee. Posture. Listen carefully. Hold your ball on a T stance. We said that when we grasp the bird's tail, we start with the right hand side. When we grasp the bird's tail, there are two sub-movements. The first one is warding off. Here we go. Out on an L, push your opponent away. Give me my space. Turn your hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail as you sit down, sit back, look back. Turn, square, contact at your wrist. Push out that energy. Separate shoulder width away and roll back. And spiral forward, looking out into infinity. Sit back, sit down, left hand on the bottom, holding your ball on a T stance, bring in those arms. Do the same thing. Out on an L, push him away. Give me my space. Turn your hips and waist. Drag down the bird's tail as you look back, sit back. Turn, square contact. Push that energy out. Separate both hands and roll back. And spiral forward, practicing today's lesson. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Pivot out. Pivot in. Off the ground, tuck the right hand inside the cross. As you elevate to embrace the tiger, you rotate on your wrists, so now that your palms are facing you. Push out with the energy in the core with your left hand. Palms face downwards, shoulder width away. Make yourself small, dropping your shoulders, flexing your knees, tucking your elbows and wrists, and elevate the heel as you close your forearm. Okay, taking it from the beginning now, Yang Ten form all the way through, and then we'll dig down deeper and learn the finer movements, okay? Commencing form. Open, rotate, deep breath, pull up that water. Shoulder level, push down the water. Repulsing of the monkey. Center, higher, glance open, ear, turn, meet, pull back, push forward. Center, higher, glance open, ear, turn, meet, slide. T stance, brush your knee, out into the L, multitask to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball on a T stance, out on a side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, ball and T, out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back hand. Sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock. Out step, 9 o'clock, flip the hands, join the feet. Middle or cup. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, flip the hands, open the feet. Cloud hands. Only flip the hands. Middle. 3 o'clock, flip and close your stance. Middle. Flip the hands open. Middle. 3 o'clock, only flip meet. Use your hips and waist, center yourself up, golden cockerel. Down, center, counterbalance, up. Down, center, right hand, right foot up, kicking out. Left foot, left hand, and out. Holding our ball on a T stance, going to the right to ward off. Out on an L, push your opponent, give me my space. Turn your hips and waist, bring down the bird's tail as you look back, sit back, turn, then square, then contact, push, separate and roll back, and spiral forward. Sit back, sit down, left hand on the bottom, holding your ball in a T stance. We're going to ward off, out on an L, push him away. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail as you look down, sit back and turn, square, then contact, push, separate and roll back, and spiral forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, open, pivot. Tuck the right hand inside the cross as you embrace the tiger. Elevate and rotate on your wrist so that now both palms are facing you. Push out with power of your core muscles and your left wrist. Palms are facing down. Pushing down that water, making yourself small. As you now close your form. All right, so big accomplishment. This is only lesson number 8. We've got 2 more to go, and you can do the 10 movements, and you never thought you could. And sure, there are places where you're not clear, that you need more practice, you need more instruction, but you have the overview of what it feels like to do Tai Chi, okay? And it gets better as you, over a period of time, as you get to know the movements a little better. And your body now is getting into that conditioning period or conditioning status or mode because it's being trained. And at the same time, your mind is forcing you to get with the program, right? So that's another thing. You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself. You want to go for that enjoyment. But little pressure is good because that'll keep you to stay focused. But too much will just make you tired and feeling like I can't get anywhere. So lighten up the load, okay? Don't create extra pressure on yourself. I'm not creating pressure on you. I hope I'm not, okay? I want it to be a nice journey. All right, so we said that we would tackle the new lesson first, the new movement, and then go back and refine and reevaluate some of the other difficult movements. So we know, first is commencing form. There are 10 movements. Some people do the same Yang 10 form, but they call it 8 because they leave out, I believe, some of the sub ones that we do. I don't know specifically which ones, but the 8 form and the 10 form are exactly the same. So first movement is what? What is this called? Commencing form. And not surely only one person answering. What's this one? Repulsing of the monkey. And the multitask one is brush knee. And after that is what? Parting the wild horse's mane. And after you part the wild horse's mane, you what? Go into the cloud. You go into cloud 9, right? By then you feel so relaxed. Then after that, you've got to get out of cloud hands, and you know this one well. Golden cockerel, left and right. Then kick out, right and left. And then last week's lesson, which is grasping of the bird's tail. So you're going to ward off first, give me my space, then pull down the bird's tail, right? Then after that, we're going into the new lesson, which is apparent closing. So if you look like you're apparently closing, then you're going to embrace the tiger, and then you're going to actually close. Okay, that might be a little bit more than 10, but they somehow group them together, so it's maybe just embrace the tiger and closing form. Another phrase for embracing the tiger is cross hands. So you will see that both make sense. Essentially, what you're going to do is your feet are apart and your right hand is inside the cross. So this is the cross. The right hand sits inside, and this is what I'm referring to when I say tuck that right hand inside the cross. At this point, you're down low, okay? As you elevate, the hands start to rotate on their wrists and come up, so that now both palms are facing you. So can we try that? So we said when we embrace the tiger or cross hands, we are down low, we're coming in so that the right hand is on the inside of the cross. We're coming up and we're rotating on our wrists so that by the time we're at our chest level, our palms are now facing us. Okay? Again. Down low, right hand inside the cross. Start to rotate and elevate. Take a pause. With the energy and the core muscles, push out your hand. Now what happens naturally? The palms go down. And you then make yourself small. Hands go for the ride. And you wrap, then you close your forearm. Okay? So pretty simple, but make it nice. Don't be in a rush to say, wow, that's it, I'm finally done. Keep your composure. Composure is peacefulness, being patient, taking every little muscle into account. Do not rush it, okay? But make it synchronized, make it smooth, okay? So to get into that position, there's another series of sub-movements. Okay, so you're gonna watch first because you don't know what really I'm gonna be focusing on. So when we ward off on our right, grasp the bird's tail, sit down, sit back, hands go for the ride. Hands go for the ride because the energy is pushing it out. And hands go for the ride because my body is sitting back and sitting down. My energy is extending, so my arms are extending. What I do on one side, I do on the other. So now left hand on the bottom, holding my ball, bringing it in. Out on an L, ward off, push him away, give me my space. I don't need a whole bunch of space, because if I have a whole bunch of space, he's gonna push me down. I just need to keep my Tai Chi posture and get my space by pushing him forcefully, turning my hips and waist and grasping the bird's tail. Hands go for the ride. It's not purely a hands motion. Then we're getting to the area where I want to teach. Rolling back. Spiraling forward. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pivot, pivot in. Off the ground, tuck the right hand inside. Elevate, rotate, palms facing me, push out. So that's the view that you would be doing it in. Okay, but now you realize, hey, I didn't see her hands. I need to get another view. So now I will face you, but do it on this side, I think. Last grasping of the bird's tail. Sit down, sit back, pivot, pivot, in, tuck the right hand inside. This is for balance. I bring my feet in. I start to rotate. I start to elevate. Chest level, I'm done. I hold it for 1 second. I push out with the core muscles. My palms are now facing the ground. I drop my shoulders, I relax. My hands go for the ride. They do not lead my movement. And then I close my forearm. Okay? Any questions on that now? All right, ready to try? Let's pause it a little bit and let's go for the grasping of the bird's tail, okay? Right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go. Bring in your ball, bring in your arms. You do not see my arms like that. Bring it in. It's comfortable, it's more relaxed. You're going to ward off. Out on an L, push your opponent away. Give me my space. Turn the hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail. Pull down, pull back. Look back. Turn, square, contact, push. Separate your arms and roll back. And spiral forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, left hand on the bottom to hold your ball on a T stance. Bring in those arms. Out on an L, move that ball, push them away, give me my space. Turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, pull down, pull back, look back. Turn, square contact, push. Shoulder width away and roll back. And spiral forward, slowly. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, hands go for the ride. Pivot, pivot in. Tuck the right hand inside the cross as you close your feet. Rotate as you elevate. Palms now facing you. Pause, push out. Palms facing the downwards. Drop your shoulders, make yourself small as you close your form. Okay, so now you say, hey, that's really the easiest. It should have been the first movement, okay? And you have to remember that when you first came to Tai Chi, there's so many things bombarding your mind, visually, mentally, auditorily, and so now you've been able to grasp some of those things, and then you can hear and see other items. But right away, it's a lot. So at the end, yes, it is an easier movement, but you know you have some conditioning and you know how to filter out some of the information. A good way of remembering what to do is that the hands mimic the feet. What do I mean by that? What do I mean when I say the hands mimic the feet? They follow the feet, or they are in line with the feet. For instance, push out for the last time. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. What did my hands do? They pivoted. When my foot pivoted, my hands came into that direction. When my other foot pivots, my hand goes out. When my foot goes in, my hand comes in. When I close my feet, my hands take that closure too. So the hands follow the feet. Okay? When I use the word hands and when I use the word feet, I do mean it, but I don't mean it that they're detached. I don't mean it that they're detached and moving by themselves. They're moving with the connection of the core and the mind, okay? So they're not separate entities when I say move your hand, move your feet. But out of expediency with delivery, it's a catch-all for me, okay? All right, let's practice what we just kind of learned and kind of saw, okay? Let's shorten it so we know our memory's not that good. So we're gonna stay with the left and then apparently close, okay? Left hand on the bottom, right hand on the top, holding your ball. We're going into an L stance to ward off. Out on an L, push your opponent away. Give me my space. Turn your hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail. Pull down, pull back, look back. Turn, square, contact, push. Separate, roll back. Make yourself small as you spiral forward. Sit down, sit back. Pivot, open, in. Tuck the right hand in as you close your form, your feet. Rotate, palms now facing. Pause, push out. Downward of the palms. Drop your shoulders, make yourself small. Hands go for the ride. Heel up, off the ground, toe down, heel down. One more time. This time you're gonna put on a pair of mittens. How do you put on a pair of mittens? Do you put your mittens on like this? How do you, show me how you put on a pair of mittens. You separate your finger. So when we're in the closing form position, when you come up, wear those mittens. Do not show me you did not change it and you're wearing your gloves. So all you have to do is make sure that the four fingers are closer together as you come down, okay? Closer together, not tight in and not stiff, but relaxed away from the thumb rather than equally distanced away from the thumb, okay? All right, so you can try all of those things and make it really pretty. On a T stance, holding your ball, you're gonna ward off. Out on an L, push your opponent away. Give me my space. Turn your hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail as you pull down, pull back, sit back. Turn, square contact, push. Separate, you can put your mittens on already. Roll back. And spiral forward. Sit back, twist, open, in, tuck the right hand in as you embrace the tiger, rotating already so that both palms are facing as you stop at shoulder, chest level. Pause, push out. Wear your mittens. Obviously, put on those mittens that should have been put on from the beginning of commencing form, okay? But we're getting a little particular now because people are looking at finer details as you end your 10 movements, okay? They're looking for every little detail. So we take for granted that when we start any Tai Chi or any performance, you know, you want to create a environment of peacefulness and relaxation. So you hold that same mode up to the very end, as long as you can stretch it. There are other strategies that we know about that we can teach you later, but for now, you know, we'll just take little bits and pieces. Any questions so far? Okay, so I'll give you a choice. What do you want to review? Cloud hands, grasping of the bird's tail, or brush knee, okay? And some of you didn't, so maybe anything will go for you, okay? Yeah, that's probably, you know, everything, yeah. But when you think about it, you do say everything because you know you're probably a little bit of a perfectionist and you know that things are not very clear, which is very good, but you're still you still have bought into the thing that you want to know it a little better, and that's really a good learning position to be in, okay? You don't want to ever just give up. All right, so we're going to build on what you have. We're going to start with cloud hands, and then we'll probably get time to do the others. In cloud hands, we know that the transition step is probably the hardest. And then if you can just take apart what you do at 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and we know that something happens. The hands flip, the feet to do something. The hands flip, the feet do something. And we know that we are always leading with our toe, elevating, toe, so and so forth, okay? Rather than clumping it down and clumping it down, you know. So we start with our toes, the lightest part of our feet. We also know that, yeah, to drill it is easy because you do it repetitively and you can make some mistakes and yet you have time to fix it up. But in a short form, such as the 10 movements, there are specific things that you have to abide by. So we'll go for that, okay? So we are on the last, actually I'm gonna make you watch, okay? Watch, there's value in watching. So we're on the last parting of the wild horse's mane. Here it is, stretch. Flip the forward hand and join it. Hands are staggered, palms are opposite of each other. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Notice that my hands go for the ride. Uh-oh, I'm at 12. So it's cup and stem. Uh-oh, I need to get out to 11, 10, 9. It's the extremity. I have to shift my weight, flip my hands. I have to do something with my feet. I have to do something with my hands. Home base, I'm at 50% evenly distributed. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, I have to flip, I have to do something with my feet. 12 o'clock, I can rest. But here comes 9 o'clock, but we need to get out slowly out of cloud hands. We cannot keep on drilling it. We don't have that liberty. Therefore, at this 9 o'clock, we can only flip and keep our feet there to get out of cloud hands eventually. Here comes 3 o'clock. We can now go the other way and close our feet. We need to, 9 o'clock, go the other way. And we need to get out. So we only flip. And then we come up as a golden cockerel. So you're saying, yeah, it's the thing that leads us into cloud hands that probably gives you some heartache. So the thing is, just remember that. Set yourself upright, flip, join. Opposite hands, staggered hands. Not the same level, but staggered. So the one closer to you is lower, the other guy is higher. All you have to do is after you do a bow stance, you sit back and sit down. Then you have to pivot. My hands are attached. All they're going to do is cup. I need to get out there, so what am I going to do? Pivot. And then I'm going to shift my weight because I have to be clouds. I have to be billowy, floating clouds. I have to take my feet for the ride. I have to use my core to take me for the ride. Cloud hands is not purely hands, okay? And you know all the time that you've already warmed up your hips and waist. I said to stretch out those arms to the ceiling, and I said to peek at your opposite foot. So, heel of your opposite foot. So this should be nice and swivelly so that you can do cloud hands, right? Okay, do it with me now, okay? Last parting of the wild horse's mane. Right hand, right foot, ready to go. Out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back hand. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, 12 o'clock stem and cup. Pivot out to the 9 o'clock. Shift your weight, flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock cup, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, flip the hands, open the feet. Home base. Only flip the hands because we need to go the other way. Close the feet, flip the hands. Home base. Flip the hands, open. Middle. Only flip the hands. Shift the weight to the left, come up. Golden cockle. Getting easier. Who asked that those people who said that they wanted cloud hands, did I cover the area where you needed help on? Okay. Remember I once said in the first day of class that Tai Chi is very logical. You're using her body, your whole body. But I also said, but right now you think it's illogical. Illogical, does not make sense because you are not acquainted and your body's not acquainted. But believe me, everything that we do is logical. Best for your body. Does not screw up and tense and puts pressure on any parts of your body if done correctly. The basic answer I have for you is that we practice opposites attract. We practice something where the opposites help us. So when we are here, our opposite foot has to close. When we are here, our opposite foot has to open. Why? Because that is like a counterbalance. So the opposite, if this foot comes up, this hand has to stabilize us. At the same time, we're shifting our weight. We need to change our center of balance, our gravity. We are moving and changing as we move. If our center stayed here, we cannot move sideways without changing that center of balance and using the positioning of our arms and feet to counterbalance us. I can't get too technical, but in a general answer, don't dig down deeper. If you're following me, it makes sense. It can never give you the imbalance that you feel that, how come we're doing opposites, but opposites attract, yin and yang. Okay, and then Ken's going to pour it on because I think that he feels that this is something that needs to be worked out.
To sort of amplify on why we have our hands and feet going in opposite directions. You're trying to maintain the center of balance. You don't ever want to be off to one side too far because you're going to go this way. So it's like a simple posture. Take a tightrope walker. You don't see him walking around like this, right? And you don't see him walking around like this, but what do? He's walking around because he wants to go straight. He has here, here, and he is going very straight, okay? He's using these two things to help him maintain the center of balance to go forward. In Tai Chi, like Lucille says, we sometimes have opposites, okay? I have one set here, one set here. Where is my center of gravity? Straight down the middle. When I get too far this way, I gotta catch up. I have to shift that point, and I have to bring this in, and come back out here. I'm now, center is center, hands are center. But the movement requires us to move our body, so we do this. But as we go this way, we know we want to maintain our center of balance. Center of balance is here, leg is out here, arm is out here. But we can't go any farther. If we want to go in this direction, we have to set the center of balance, come back out, and as we come back out this way, we're going to get too far, whoop, close up. So each time we're trying to move, when we move our center of balance, we try to maintain our posture so that we're in control. And the hands and legs help us to say, whether we're out this way or this way, this is preserved as we move, okay? I wanted to get to another point. You know, we talk about use of core muscles, okay? And one of the basic things about your core muscles is you want to start from the core. The core is your ocoles, your thighs, your upper part of your body, your back, and the rest are peripheral muscles. You know. But everything starts and goes back to the core. That's the nature of Tai Chi. That's where you get your strength. But for us, that's where we want to build those muscles. So we use Tai Chi to help us build it, okay? For instance, you're going to do commencing form. It's not just like this. You are in your mind, you are thinking back muscles, elbows, hands. Back muscles start to pull back, elbows, hands. Holding the ball, it's not just with your hands, it's the back muscles. The back muscles are starting things to move. They're starting from the back muscles so that ultimately your hands end up here and you are centered, but it's here, okay? Another one is the lesson we had today. Coming down, you don't flop here. The hands are coming, the shoulders are coming down, and if you really were to do it forcefully, you want to maybe get that guy here, but you're not going to like that. You're going to come from here, bang, bang, bang. Okay, so you are using your back muscles, and this one, the other side, is just sort of to complement things so that you have a base from which to make your whole body strength. You're using both sides. It's like if you have a good platform on which to launch whatever you're going to do, whether you're going to throw a shot put or whatever, if the whole body is engaged, you have a better chance of doing a more successful move, right? So you're here, and if I were to put tension, but we don't put tension, we put maybe a slight bit of tension, if not tone, to your muscles as you come down, as we're building, okay? Here, turn, and we shift our center of gravity, we come, and like she says, like Lucille says, the hand and the feet go together. I sort of nicknamed this the windshield wiper. The feet comes out, the hand comes out. The feet comes in, the feet comes in, and the hand is coming back, okay? And then you shift weight, and you bring it here, come here, and when you're coming up this way, you are engaging this part of the body here to get it up. As if you are, okay? And you get up here and you think you're home free, but really, this position here uses the core muscles to keep attention. She says, hold this for a second. And the intention from a martial arts standpoint is you're not going to get me because I have this part pushing my hands out to hold this position. So she says, get up here, hold it for a second. And you say, get away. But you don't push here, you push from back. Your back, you have to use your core muscles to, again, you're here, and you have this slight gesture as you're going forward. It just adds a little bit more strength, more power to moving the hands out. So you're here. You can see my shoulders do this. And then another way to use central power is you're out this way and you want to push him down. In this case, we're going to do a closing form, which would be this. What do you do? Where does the power come from? Sometimes she'll use the term, make yourself small. What you're doing is making yourself small, seemingly, in stature. But again, it's another opposite of Tai Chi. Sometimes you'll read about Tai Chi. What is soft is hard, and what is hard is soft. And that's one of the meanings, okay? This looks like I'm making myself small, and it's soft. But it's really, I'm getting more power to the upper part of my body from not just my hands, I'm giving more power from here, making myself small. But if you just tense your muscles, you feel a sense of tension and strength.